Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we are going to be working on a black background. I get lots of requests for working on black cardstock, and that's what we're going to be doing today. I am using these panels from Joggles, and these are 9 1/4 by 4 inches. So I'm going to score that in half, and I have been loving the size of cards. I actually think these are meant for mixed media and things like that, but you know, why not make them into cards? Because they make a very cute size card, and I just make a custom envelope for these, which is super easy. I have a whole video on my channel just how to make different sized envelopes. Now, on a black background, I am going to use some of my white gloss spray by Dina Wakley. Now, I have had this for a good amount of time, and this is the first time that the nozzle has clogged on me, and I cleaned it, I put hot water through it, I did all the things, and I couldn't get it to work. So I did buy one of the replacement ones here, and 2 come in this. Of course, I just need 1 for the minute. It's got a nice wee resealable bag, so I'll keep the other one. And then it's as easy as, you know, putting in the new one, and this sprays beautifully again. This is actually the only one I have of this, the only gloss spray, because it stays bright white even when you spray it over things like Distress Oxide. So that's what I use for my splatter. But because it stays bright white, I'm going to use it on my black background. Now, I actually have one of the Joggles Creative Cuts. Now, I'm trying these out. This one is the Fleur pattern, obviously just gorgeous flowers and dots. And these are actually like a cardstock stencil. And so you are meant to use, you know, you can use this as, you know, use it to get the stencil pattern, but then also use the actual stencil in your artwork as well. And so I love that idea. And I'm going to use this. You can see I didn't want a completely saturated look. I like that speckled look. I think it gives a little bit of interest to those gorgeous flowers. So I'm actually going to do a few of these, but just show you what I kind of do along the way when I am using some black cardstock. Of course, you could put a white, you know, panel on the front and then do normal techniques. Absolutely. But it's fun to challenge ourselves to use, there's some really cool techniques, and I've actually got another video coming where I'm just using like the black background to our advantage, basically. This is one of the 9 by 12 stencils called Triangles. And again, I just do a spray through it. You don't have to, you know, complicate things. I think even these gorgeous, even the white through here is stunning. And of course, there are lots of other products that you could put through these, even things even like mica or some perfect pearls, all sorts of gorgeous things that you could add onto here. But I just did 2. These took me seconds to create, and they are stunning. So I did want to show you just like an option for colouring over top of that once you've got that base layer. So I have some Distress Oxides, 3 blues. I'm actually going to place the stencil, you know, directly back where it was, and this is after I have dried the white. So I dried it with a heat gun, and then I'm actually going to take to this to add some colour. By all means, there's lots of ways that you can add colour, but you know, inking is super simple for me. So I'm just going to hold this in place, and I have 3 different blues that I'm going to add over top of that. And again, we're just using that white layer as a base so that we can see the blues over top of that black background. Again, without putting like a, you know, a card front on there, a white or a cream or something, you know, that we were able to see the colors. So we're working directly onto the black backgrounds, which is fun. I actually have a whole other video, which I will link at the end of this one, and I'll also link it down in the description box, of so many ideas. I don't know how many cards I do in that video, but I do a lot of how you are able to use black backgrounds. So similar to this, but just lots and lots of ideas rather than focusing like this one does. Now I'm using this DecoColor. This is a gorgeous gold. Now I will say that this is shiny. This is a metallic marker, and they are by Marvy, and it is an oil-based opaque metallic paint marker. And so this is great for what I'm doing here, outlining. I'm really adding in that metallic effect, you know, something shiny onto our cards, another sort of element to catch your eye, and it sort of neatens up all the edges from the spray. Like with stencils, sometimes you can get a little bit of bleeding. I actually got very little with this, to be honest. Then you can also go ahead and add some finer details. So this pen, I will say, is very shiny. I do love working with these, and I have the gold, the silver, and the rose gold in these. I think they do more colors, but this is what I have. And yeah, so just making sure I've roughly got a few of those options. Now for this one, I have, my scraps are getting out of control, so we need to start using them. These little birds here are washi birds that I did. This is the Tim Holtz bird die, one of his birds, and it's just like this gorgeous bird silhouette. I made a video not very long ago making basically washi tape masterboards, and then I made a scraps masterboard, and that's how I cut those birds. This one here is from the Dear Love collection. Oh, I do love this one, and this is the scraps from it because I have literally used the entire paper pad bar a couple of these pieces. So waste not, want not. We don't want to throw things out. I also have this scrap of vellum in here, and this is quite a big scrap, so I'm thinking how I could use this. I could use it separately to go on top there. I don't want to cut out that whole background. I don't want to lose that gorgeous black background, but I think adding some real pops of color is going to work well here. I definitely want that gorgeous contrast, you know, so I do like that. I was going to add either the vellum or the pink, but actually I think I will add just a tiny little border of the vellum. I think that adds something else to it. If you have a die, like a little postage stamp die, or you wanted to do my postage stamp trick with the little hole punch that you can do and create that look, then that would be good here. I just decided to go for plain and simple, just nice clean edges. So I stick this down on here, take my trimmer, and then I just use the pink edge. When I lift up that bit of the trimmer, I just use the pink edge there to sort of line that up, and then I can get a really solid, even trim all the way around. So that's why I'm not putting it, you know, up against the top or anything, because I don't know that the vellum scrap I used was straight to begin with. So, as I said, I'm going for the bright pink and the pink, the gold, the white. You know, there's a lot of neutrals that I have already on my black, and so that is why the pink is going to work perfectly here. I will pop up the pink a little bit, but I do need a sentiment. These are from my printable sentiment sheets on my website, www.natashafootecreative.com, and it's under the free resources page, completely free. You don't need to do anything, no payment, nothing. It is just a free resource that you can download and print out, and you have a whole lot of sentiments. You can fussy cut out some, you can use dies to cut them out, just, you know, they're all plain shapes of squares and circles and things, and a few banners. Now I also had that other piece of wet cement cardstock, and I really liked that too. But anyway, I'm trying to narrow this down. I think this little birdie, again, is a nice bright pop of color there, and this is a really sort of use up my scraps. So I need to do a few of these videos because, as I said, I have a tiny little bottle of scraps container on my desk, and I do not like to go past it because that means that, you know, I need to work on it. Now I am outlining this little birdie in gold, and this actually makes a huge difference, far more than I thought it was going to. I'm not sure if you can pick it up in the video, but there is actually, the edges of this really are shiny. This is a shiny pen, I will say. It is definitely not a dull gold look. It's shiny, which, you know, I want, so it's catching the light. It is absolutely beautiful, and I think bringing some of those background elements into your focal point is perfect. So I'm just putting some more double-sided adhesive behind there, making sure I don't go over the edges because I don't want it to show through the vellum. And then I know that my little sentiment is going to sort of butt up against the bottom there, and again I'm going to keep that pretty flat too. This is all pretty plain and simple, but actually this card came together really nicely out of very basic scraps and was a lot of fun to make. Now, I will leave a link to my website over there. I have a whole lot of card classes, a whole lot of videos. I'm doing an A to Z series where I cover every letter of the alphabet. I have the always handy card layout resources where there is not only the layouts that you can go and see, that you know, might, I call them brain starters. They sort of, you know, start your brain into what you could do. But I have videos that go along with every single one of those layouts with lots of ideas. So pop over to my website and have a look there. But I hope you enjoyed our card today, creating on a black background. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next one. Give me a like and a thumbs up and leave me a comment, and I'll see you soon. Bye.